And welcome to another week of Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. We'll head over to Paulson Stadium where the Georgia Southern football team held their second scrimmage of the preseason. Let you know how things went out there. Also hear from Georgia Southern head coach Chad Lunsford and some of the players. We'll also take you out and dive into the waters of beautiful Eagle Creek for Georgia Southern's baptisms, which included first-year president Kyle Marrero. We'll also send you out for a scrimmage game at Statesboro High School's Womack Field, the Blue Devils taking on Swainsboro. And we'll also hear from Bullock Academy head coach Pat Collins on how things are shaping up for the Gators this year. All that, and we'll also have some softball information and more coming up in just a moment. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com.
The Medical Center Pharmacy on Grenade Street is proud to be your Health Mart pharmacy in Statesboro. The Medical Center Pharmacy, locally owned and serving this community for 50 years, is open 364 days a year. The pharmacists at Medical Center know there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. That's why they take the time to know their customers, explain their medications, and answer any questions. The Medical Center Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
What does it mean to have financial freedom?
At Queensboro Wealth Management, we're helping people figure that out.
And giving them a plan to get there.
If you have a desire to take control of your finances and live with financial purpose,
we will use every bit of our knowledge to help you.
And there's no cost to get started.
Download a free kit from our website, then give any of us a call. QWM is Queensboro Wealth Management. Let's begin today.
Well, the Georgia Southern Eagles have finally put a lot of the drama over the last couple of weeks behind them and now focusing on the preseason, getting ready for their trip down to Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. This past weekend, the Eagles held their second scrimmage of the preseason over at Paulson Stadium. We had a chance to talk with Coach Lunsford and some of the players after the scrimmage.
Just the operation part of it. I feel like we was real clean, not too many penalties, so I feel like that's the most improvement from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2. Just getting back to myself, obviously with a lot of stuff going on, wasn't just really being able to focus on football. But now that I'm, back and this over with, just now all my focus on football.
Well, speaking from an offensive standpoint, I think there were a lot of good out there. We had some big explosive plays out there. O-line did pretty well. Being on the center side, we had some bad snaps out there, but we're getting better every day, so I was positive about that.
I thought it was really good. I thought our guys came out locked in. Second week in a row with our scrimmage where they came in with a business-like attitude. Anytime we scrimmage, it doesn't play out like a game because there's times where the whistle may get blown before somebody's really down, if it's the quarterback, or the defense makes a play and they would have made it, but they didn't blow the whistle because it was the quarterback was not live. But for the most part, man, I thought everybody was locked in and really got after it today. I think there's a lot more consistency right now. Last year we were learning one another. It was the first time for everything. And now we get into this. it's a little bit more, and I hate using the word comfortable, but I think comfortable can be a good thing. You just can't be complacent. And I think, I think as a staff, I think as a team, we feel a little bit more comfortable with where we're at right now. Our guys are very businesslike. It's a little bit different than last year. I think everybody last year was, we think this will work, and I think now it's more we know this will work. And I think that's paying off.
All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we'll hear from Coach Lunsford and also Georgia Southern President Kyle Marrero, who were among a few other people, including this year's seniors that went out to the Eagle Creek baptisms this past week.
What does it mean to have financial freedom?
At Queensboro Wealth Management, we're helping people figure that out.
And giving them a plan to get there.
If you have a desire to take control of your finances and live with financial purpose,
We will use every bit of our knowledge to help you.
And there's no cost to get started.
Download a free kit from our website, then give any of us a call. QWM is Queensboro Wealth Management. Let's begin today.
Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, providing primary care for Statesboro area patients since 1998, providing complete physicals, complete sports physicals, Medicare wellness exams, full diabetes treatment, and education from lifestyle changes to oral medications to insulin pump therapy. In-house dermatology, in-house circulation tests and ultrasounds, in-house lab. And introducing our new nurse practitioner, Melissa Beasley, as we now accommodate same-day or next-day appointments to serve your needs. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, where we care. Well, it's become a tradition over the past few years, as prior to the start of the school season, the Georgia Southern seniors, Coach Lunsford, and this year it's President Kyle Marrero. In the past, it's been other presidents and faculty members, all dipping into the waters of beautiful Eagle Creek for baptisms.
Well, it symbolizes a lot. You know, it's a journey for those seniors, and we talk about always leaving a legacy at Georgia Southern. And so this 2019 class, as far as football goes, is this is their turn. And so this, when we get in that creek, that exemplifies that. It symbolizes, hey man, it's time to leave your legacy. It's time to add to what Georgia Southern football has been about. I think it's another example of blue collar. You know, our president. Biggest man on campus. He's not too big to get in that creek and get dirty with us. So I think it's a great thing. You know, it's a great thing for our university to see it. It's a great thing for our students to see it. I know it's a great thing for our football players.
Since April 1st, since I was able to become the 14th president of Georgia Southern, to have this day where with the team together we can live this tradition. Magical, beautiful waters of Eagle Creek, that's what makes this institution incredibly special. The history, the heritage, from the Dirty Dozen to Irk Russell, the magical waters that made a team, made a community feel like they could do anything. And that's the tradition we want to continue here at Georgia Southern.
And stay with us. Coming up next, we'll head out to the high school gridiron where Statesboro High was taking on Swainsboro in a scrimmage. Come visit us locally here in Statesboro at Piedmont Loop beside Walmart.
Yes, got the chips. You ready? Yeah. Yes, this is it.
It's Badcock Home Furniture and More's 115th anniversary. Get an extra $115 off your purchase and enter our 15 days of giveaways. Save big on select mattress sets and select sofas. It's easy with your style, our credit at Badcock Home Furniture and More's 115th anniversary.
All the Statesboro High Blue Devils with only one scrimmage in the preseason, and that is against the Swainsboro Tigers. It took place this past Friday. Not a real high-scoring affair, but Coach Kaiser got a chance to see his team matching up with someone else, a team that actually did pretty good last year. Swainsboro went 9-3 and advanced to the state. Let's see how things went. The Statesboro Blue Devils hosting Swainsboro for a scrimmage game Friday evening at Walmart Field before a pretty good crowd. Early on, Statesboro's defense playing tough. Brendan Jackson with the big hit in the backfield for a loss. Statesboro's offense trying to move downfield, but Jalen Robertson coughs up the ball. Swainsboro recovers. The Tigers move downfield and eventually connect on Cole Bell's 33-yard field goal to take a 3-0 lead. More from the Tigers in the second quarter. Quarterback Cade Yeomans hits Cedric Seaborough, who fights his way in for the touchdown. On offense, a few bright spots here. Drake Horton to Will Yawn for a first down. But then Horton picked off by Javon Brown. He gets the ball into Blue Devil territory. Statesboro's defense stiffens once again. Dake Williams with the big hit. And then a nice leaping interception by Hunter Saucy, who returns the ball to midfield. The Blue Devils would create 5 turnovers in the game. Statesboro's offense finally looks like they're going to put some points on the board as a swing pass to Jalen Robertson, an apparent touchdown, but a holding call would bring this one back. The defense steps up once again. Ames Ratcliffe with the fumble recovery. We go to the half with the score 10-0. More from the Blue Devil defense. Gabe Idowu was able to come up with the interception. And then check out the big hit. Brendan Jackson delivers, and once again, Ames Ratcliffe with the fumble recovery. The Blue Devil offense finally gets into the end zone with no penalties. Audrell Grace, 33 yards for the score. The JV teams played in the 4th and final quarter, and this one would end in a 10-7 game. Well, next up for the Blue Devils, they'll be opening up the season in 2 weeks, taking on Greenbrier at home. Stay with us. Up next, we'll wrap things up with a visit with Pat Collins from Bullock Academy.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Well, the Bullock Academy Gators will be kicking things off once again in the Irk Russell Classic, getting things underway on Saturday at 10 a.m. at Paulson Stadium as they take on Pinewood. We had a chance to sit down and talk with Gator head coach Pat Collins about the season.
98% of our offensive production graduated with 4 boys. When you look at the production that Don Aaron had as a runner and a passer, when you look at Ty Mingle and Jake Nelson, and then Matt Childers was an explosive receiver for us, we had a lot of our offensive production graduate. The natural concern is when you have that kind of senior production graduate is the experience factor for the group that follows behind them. So we're younger in the backfield. Our line of scrimmage has potential to be good and solid again. Again, we lost some very good players off that offensive line in 2 All-State players last year on the offensive line. So it's kind of an inexperienced concern that I have offensively. Defensively, however, we're returning several players that had a lot of quality snaps. 8 or 9 starters, depending on which game you looked at, are returning. And right now to this point through our practices, our defense has seemed to be a little bit ahead of where our offense is at this point. But that's a very, very natural thing, especially given the fact that so many senior participants graduated last year from our offense. But our offense is directed by Coach Bill Shaver, who's well-renowned, one of the most respected coaches in this state. And that group will be brought along just fine. It's just going to take a little bit of time and some repetition and growing pains as we continue to get that group ready. On the offensive side right now, we're kind of playing running back by committee. Rodney Hill obviously is a running back that did get some reps last year that stands to fit into our backfield real well. He's at the state track meet, he was the second fastest in the 100 meters, and Rodney is very explosive once he gets out in space. Jake Wasden, who played a lot of outside linebacker for us last year, is working at a dive back. Cam Harrison is working at a dive back. And then we have several, 9th and 10th graders below that are working. So at quarterback, Fisher Oglesby, who actually had a couple of starts last year, is working at quarterback right now as a senior, and junior Tyler Willoughby is also working at quarterback. Very, very fortunate to have Olin Anderson kicking for us. Olin is he really came on last year, and he will have potential to be a collegiate kicker one day if that's something that he wants to do. We feel like that if Olin stays on track, that he'll be able to consistently kick off into the end zone.
Exciting about going back to the Eric Russell Classic here.
It's a big venue, and it's a big opportunity for all of our players and their parents and grandparents. And when we talked about this last year, you might recall I mentioned that a lot of the grandparents of the boys that are on our team or businessmen and community members who back in the formative days of building Allen E. Paulson Stadium, they were some of the people who were making the initial contributions to see that football program rebuilt in Statesboro, Georgia at Georgia Southern. And those men and businessmen and families have been supporting Georgia Southern athletics, from day one. And for them to have the opportunity to see their grandsons run out and play on the field that Coach Russell coached at, it's a really, really big thing. And it's even bigger when you factor in the fact that we get to play Pinewood, who's our rival right down the road. And so we're very, very, very excited about that opportunity. Tickets are going to be on sale in two places. You can pay $10 and buy your ticket in advance from the Bullock Academy Athletic Department, or you can pay $15 and buy your ticket at the gate that day.
Once again, that game taking place at 10 a.m. Tickets can be purchased at Bullock Academy at their athletic office for only $10. So get out there and do that. Save yourself a few bucks from buying it at the gate. Also a reminder, the Portal Panthers will get our Bullock County season underway officially this Friday night. They'll be taking on Warren County, 7:30 at the Portal Athletic Complex. Also, a bit of softball to get to. The Bullock Academy Gators snapped a 2-game losing streak as they knocked off Calvary Baptist in the tournament up in Savannah. Meanwhile, the Statesboro Blue Devils, not as fortunate as they traveled to Robert Toombs, lost to Robert Toombs and Westfield 8-0 and 8-0. They'll be back home taking on Screven County coming up Monday at 6, and we'll have highlights of them. Plenty more for you next week, but that'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.